Take
That's
two.
really who you were waiting on.
Exactly.
He's our sole reporter today. Wow. Yeah, they don't.
Good morning. I'd like to call to order the Commissioners' meeting for today and ask that we begin with a moment of silence. Thank you. Now please rise for the pledge to the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We'll begin public comment with a visit from the Gap.
Good morning, Commissioners. Dave Weissnick from Fort Indian Town Gap. We are very pleased to announce we have exceeded our personnel that have trained at the Gap. Officially from last year, as of today, we had 134,509 personnel that have trained at the Gap. So, big job, and we have done it successfully, so everybody's very pleased with that. With that said, Warfighter Exercise 18, which is our big divisional level warfighter, that has been building as we speak. Next week we go into the heavy phase. That's going to bring an additional 4,500 troops to the Gap. News release was put out on that. They are from the New York National Guard, the 42nd Infantry Division. They will be going through a war sims exercise, excuse me, for the next couple weeks. So everybody should expect a lot of extra activity and buzz and adjoining communities with us. Last week we had a visit from the Deputy Assistant Secretary of the Army. Mr. Collins came up to the Gap, presented an award to our environmental team there for the Army Environmental Sustainability Award for 2016. Those of y'all that have dealt with us know that we are good stewards of the environment at Fort Indian Town Gap, because it is the right thing to do, and it is also an integral part of our mission. So we took a lot of pride in gaining that award. This past weekend we had our annual March for the Fallen. We had over 600 participants in it this year. That event keeps growing year by year. Very good thing that happens with that as we come in and we march in either in a 5K, a 14-miler, or a 28-miler, and remember the fallen of Pennsylvania. So, pending any of your questions. That's all we have. And Sally is not here today, so I was going to tell her that we have no loud training that is for the rest of this month. Okay, so
Don, you can share that.
You can tell me.
you'll be overjoyed with that.
I do have one question.
Yes.
You said that the Gap recently received an award for good stewardship at that. Were there any, what specifically was mentioned this time out, or was it just?
With that award, how the Army Environmental Program is broken down, it's broken down into basically compliance with a lot of the hazardous waste disposal, how we reutilize and recycle a lot of our waste streams. That's where the award was awarded for that, for the team that goes all across the Pennsylvania Guard, really, and much beyond Fort Indian Gap, and does some very innovative things with that. I can get you the actual press release of that, so you can see what categories we won. So
you exceeded specification?
oh yes, sir, by quite a bit. So, as a matter of fact, our personnel in the environmental section for the DFVA, which handles the environmental sustainability for the gap. We had some people that did some very innovative things that not only did the right thing and protected the environment, but also avoided the taxpayers quite a bit of money for utilizing some stuff. So very interesting stuff. It's kind of a professional interest that I've developed over the years in doing that. So and I'm very proud of it. Our adjutant general's very proud of it. Our post commander's very proud of it, and certainly all of us. Be glad to give you some the official press release. That way you could get the categories that we added.
Thank you.
Just like to say congratulations, not only on your environmental award, but the training of all our troops and everything you do for the community as well. You're good neighbors. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anything else? David, thanks again for shining a good light on some of the good things that are going on in government, and it's wonderful to see what you're doing out there and reminding us of that.
Thanks, sir. Thank you all.
Thank you. All right, I look forward to approval of the minutes of our last meeting. Motion.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any additions or deletions or corrections? Hearing none, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, so moved. Okay, and on to our treasurer's report with Dawn.
Okay, our receipts from 9/19 and 9/20 were $1,691,142.39. The total cash was $2,029,205.72, minus our expenditures, which was $2,841,467.15, and minus tax claim of $41,913.07, leaving us a cash balance in the hole of $854,174.50. Now, we are getting reimbursement for salary benefits of $765,443.48 that should be coming today. And then we had some money that we used from assigned money that we had of $100,000, so that we're moving over today, so.
So you won't have to pass the hat.
Yep.
Anything else, Tom?
Nope.
Make a motion to approve the treasurer's report as presented.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any questions or comment? Hearing none, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, so moved. Thank you, Don.
Thank you.
Morning.
Morning.
All right, you may proceed. Introduce yourselves.
Shelley Idris, Director of Human Resources. Leanne Shank, Human Resources Assistant. Personnel transactions, resignations, and terminations. Kenneth Klein, substitute meal transporter, resignation effective September 1st. Jean Cho Mosley, law clerk, resignation effective September 29th. Tara Goodrich, caseworker 1, removal effective August 21st. Brandy Fosnach, fiscal assistant, resignation effective September 21st. Linda Adams, telecommunicator, resignation effective September 29th. And Mackenzie Brightville, part-time developmental assistant, resignation effective September 13th.
Make a motion to accept the resignations and terminations as read.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any questions, comments? Hearing none, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, so moved.
Under FMLA leaves of absence, Jesse Miller from EMA, 32 day unpaid leave of absence effective August 19th with a return date of September 23rd.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve that leave. Any questions? Hearing none, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, so moved.
Under changes of status, transfers, and promotions, Galen Boyd, change of status from substitute Meals on Wheels at Area Agency on Aging to regular part-time Meals on Wheels at Area Agency on Aging. No change in his rate effective September 25th. Danielle Gray, promotion from caseworker 2 at MHIPEI to casework supervisor at MHIPEI at the rate of $1,572.21 biweekly effective September 25th. Izad Morejo, change of status from full-time developmental assistant at Renova to casual call. developmental assistant at Renova. No change in his rate, effective September 16th.
Make a motion to accept the changes in status as read.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded. Questions, comments? Hearing none, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, so moved.
Moving on to other transactions, the GIS department would like to hire Andrew Perzicki as a GIS specialist at the rate of $1,188.33 biweekly, effective September 25th. Children and Youth would like to hire Taylor Steinsnyder as a caseworker 1 at the rate of $1,156.21 biweekly, effective October 2nd. President Judge Chilwalk would like to hire Kaylee Smolko as an imaging clerk at the rate of $824.99 biweekly, effective October 2nd. EMA would like to hire Matthew Lewis as a telecommunicator at the rate of $15.32 per hour, effective September 25th. EMA would like to hire Joseph Morales as deputy director at the rate of $1,729.67 biweekly, effective September 25th. NHIDEI would like to hire Brandy Poole as a caseworker 2 at the rate of $1,242.92 biweekly, effective September 25th. The planning department would like to hire David Simonitis as a chief sewage officer at the rate of $1,925 biweekly, effective
Michelle,
October
I'd
12th.
like to pull that one out for a separate vote, please.
Okay. Do you want to do
Yeah, well, why don't we do that? Why don't we do what we have so far, and then we'll do that one, and then we'll,
okay.
this is,
So backing up, and we're gonna end at Brandy Poole, caseworker 2, and that, the prior. Right.
well, we need a motion for this.
Also move to hire Andrew through Randy.
Okay.
I'll second
It's been moved and seconded. Any questions or comments? All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
it. Aye.
Aye. So moved.
Should I skip that? Go
No,
on.
do it.
No, read it.
Planning, David Simonitis as a chief sewage officer at the rate of $1,925 biweekly, effective October 12th.
I make a motion to hire Matthew Simonitis, David Simonitis at the salary indicated.
Is there a second?
I have questions on the hiring.
Are you going to second the motion, or are you?
I'd like not to at this time.
Second? Now we can have discussion.
Okay. I have a couple of questions after reviewing the resume, and I was wondering why he is willing to take a $40,000 a year loss in pay to come to us, number one. And number two, why we couldn't, I understand a present employer, but why can't we investigate by doing due diligence to call past employers for references?
I don't do the hiring, Julie does.
Can you answer that as a general question, the effectiveness of getting answers from previous employers?
The department head typically, after they do a second interview or once they narrow down the candidate, does call for references. But that's not something that we track or how to include it, we just have the application resume.
Okay, and as for the other part, my understanding is he's going to day shift. He's now on a second or third shift, if I'm remembering correctly, and so there's a big advantage, quality of life-wise, when he comes to us highly prepared to move into that position.
His resume looks outstanding, it really does, but some red flags go up for me because of the things I've mentioned.
Call question, or is there any other questions? Not all in favor of the motion, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
I'm opposed.
Aye. Aye. Two ayes, the motion carries. Split vote. All against this, please say aye.
Aye.
Apparently your answers weren't effective enough. Move on to finish the personnel transactions.
Monetary clerk of courts would like to hire Diane Little as a part-time court clerk at the rate of $11.89 per hour, effective September 25th. Renova would like to hire Yurmariz Brins as a full-time developmental assistant second shift at the rate of $11.56 per hour with a 45-cent shift differential effective October 2nd.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve those transactions. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, same sign, so moved.
Moving on to salary board. Motion to approve all the transactions previously read plus the following. Stuart Stillwell, incremental increase, telecommunicator and EMA, at the rate of $19.17, effective October 8th. Jeffrey Barnes, incremental increase, full-time correctional officer at the prison, to the rate of $14.47, effective August 27th. The following three incremental increases, all full-time correctional officers at the prison, to the rate of $14.20, all effective September 24th. Edward Parchus, Ahmed Nasser, and Jose Colon. Michael Gersner, incremental increase, full-time correctional officer at the prison, to the rate of $16.34, effective October 8th. Robert Dowdy, incremental increase, full-time correctional officer at the prison, to the rate of $14.09, effective October 22nd. And the following four are all incremental increases, full-time correctional officers at the prison, all effective October 22nd at the rate of $14.09 as well. Kyle Fink, Skylar Nace, Evan Fouts, and Austin Ritchie. And we have Matthew Schmidt.
Motion.
So moved. Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve those hirings and changes in salary. Any questions, comments? Not all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, so moved. All have long careers with us.
For mandated conference seminars, Lee Kulwacki and Phaedra Burton from Area Agency on Aging would like to attend the 2017 Fall Regional Update in State College, September 27th, with mileage, meals, tolls reimbursement mandated by PDA. Stephanie Swisher from Children and Youth would like to attend the following: the evidence in child abuse cases in Camp Hill, October 10th, 11th, and 12th. $45 total registration fee, mileage reimbursement, 18 credits mandated by DHS. Marjorie Uroy, Alexandria Robson from Children and Youth would like to attend the Sex and Drugs Dual Companions in Mechanicsburg, October 23rd and 24th. Mileage, meals, tolls reimbursement, 12 credits mandated by DHS. Robert Southerly from Children and Youth would like to attend the Working Together for Educational Stability in Harrisburg, October 26th. Mileage, meals reimbursement, 4 credits mandated by DHS. Matthew Mellon, Jennifer Whitman, Crystal Liebman, and Jennifer Brown from the District Attorney's Office would like to attend the PA-DUI Association Annual Meeting in Seven Springs, November 7th through the 10th. $1,200 total registration fee, lodging, meals, tolls reimbursement, 12 credits mandated by DUI Association. Megan Ryland Tanner and Beth Hogue from the District Attorney's Office would like to attend the Evidence in Child Exploitation in Camp Hill, October 10th, 11th, and 12th. $90 total registration fee with meals, parking reimbursement mandated by the MDIT grant. Todd Hirsch and Daniel Wright from District Attorney's Office, Detectives Bureau would like to attend the PA Extradition and Interstate Rendition Symposium in Harrisburg, November 2nd. $100 total registration fee mandated by the Governor's Office. Christina Rivera, Jennifer Everly, Brad Moyer, Christina McGinnis Thompson, and Matthew Lewis from EMA would like to attend the EMA Dispatch Training in London, October 3rd, 4th, and 5th. $1,825 total registration fee with meals reimbursement, 24 credits mandated by PEMA. Jocelyn Grassley from MHIDEI would like to attend the Central Regional Housing Training in Mechanicsburg, October 3rd. Mileage reimbursement, 4.5 credits mandated by Office of Mental Health and Substance Abuse Services. Chris Hegel from MHIDEI would like to attend the Quality Management Training in Mechanicsburg, October 31st and November 1st. Mileage, meals, tolls reimbursement, 12 credits mandated by DHS and OTP. Deborah Zeckman from Probation Services would like to attend the PA-DUI Annual Meeting Conference in Seven Springs, November 8th, 9th, and 10th. $325 total registration fee with lodging and tolls reimbursement, 12 credits mandated by PDPP and the DUI Association. Audrey Rocco from Probation Services would like to attend the Advanced Fundamentals of Firearms Handgun Marksmanship Course 8 in Harrisburg, December 18th. Meals reimbursement, 7 credits mandated by PDPP. Tyler Roshan, Derek Ginrick, and Randy Stewart from Probation Services would like to attend the Advanced Fundamentals of Firearms Handguns Marksmanship Course 8 in Lebanon, September 26th. 7 credits mandated by PDPP. Travis Smart and Chris Fry from Probation Services would like to attend the Firearms Education Training Commission Course 4 in Lancaster, September 25th. Meals reimbursement, 7 credits mandated by PDPE. John Ryder and Jermaine McQueen from Probation Services would like to attend the Mental Health First Aid Training in Mount Gretna, October 4th, 8 credits mandated by JCJC.
Make a motion to approve the mandated conferences as read.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded. Any questions or comment? Not all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, so moved.
Under requested conference seminars, Michelle Long from Area Agency on Aging would like to attend the 2017 Lebanon County Summit Better Together in Lebanon, October 10th with mileage reimbursement.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we honor that request. Any questions? If not all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, so moved.
Bruce Snyder and Ryan Wertz from Community Action Partnership would like to attend the 2017 Meeting Challenge in Grantville, October 11th and 12th with mileage reimbursement.
Make a motion to have the Community Action Partnership folks attend the conference.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded. Any questions? If not all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, so ordered.
Vivian Paxton, Denise Houlihan, and Sarah Peason from MDJ Ditzler's office would like to attend the 2017 MDJS workshop in Lancaster, November 3rd with mileage reimbursement.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we honor Judge Ditzler's request. Any questions? Hearing none, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, so moved.
Chris Hebel, Patty Tingen, and Abby Casper from MHIDEI would like to attend the Work With Us annual luncheon and recognition banquet in Lebanon, October 19th, $24 total registration fee with mileage reimbursement.
Make a motion to have the folks from MHIDEI attend the luncheon.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded. Any questions? Hearing none, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, so moved.
Rebecca Davis and Edward Potter from the prison would like to attend the prison medical management training in Harrisburg, September 29th, $150 total registration fee.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the warden's request. Any questions? Hearing none, all in favor? Whoops.
Not on that, I was sticking my hand up, I'd like to make, as for afterwards.
All in favor of the motion, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Gordon, you're up.
Michelle, the gentleman who was just hired to be the EMA deputy, what is his name again?
Joseph Morales? Joseph Joe Morales?
As in the city council?
As in, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
You're
I need not ask where he comes from.
Gordon, what do you see as credentials, where he comes from, where he's retired?
Oh, I've already seen
Yep.
him.
Yep.
Thank you.
Very fortunate, okay.
Made some good hires today.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you.
Good morning, Michael Anderson, Chief Clerk, Voter Registration.
Michael, do you have a guest with you? or-
I do. Dustin Shepler is here.
Bring Dustin up.
Board. Took
Bring him up.
I understand he's in college, so he got up early today.
We had to wait
He's our
for
intern from Lebanon Valley College, Dustin Shepler. He's here with us 3 days a week, about 4 hours a day most days. So shadowing, kind of seeing what we do in the process. I did ask him to sit through your whole meeting today, just to kind of see how that process works, so.
That's a shame. I would like to convene the election board for this action. Go ahead, Michael.
All right, I'm here today requesting that the board approve the absentee ballots. I do have extras if you don't have yours with you. I did provide you with 4 samples of those ballots, and I do have all 57 ballot styles if you'd like to see one in particular, but I am requesting that the board approve those so that we can start sending them out.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve the absentee ballots.
Second the motion.
All right, I have a motion and a second to approve the ballots as presented by Mr. Anderson. Are there any questions or comments or revisions, or anything we need to take a look at? If not, all those in favor of approving the absentee ballots as presented indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Your ballots are approved.
Okay, thank you. I do have another request for the commissioners, I guess, instead of the board. So I'm not sure how you want to handle
But
that.
we'll adjourn the Board of Elections.
So moved.
Second.
We're adjourned.
My request, I apologize, I thought maybe Michelle was going to do it with her HR section, but I made a request for a temp to deliver voting machines, and I was wondering if the board had an opportunity to bring that up.
I'll make a motion that we allow Michael to hire a temp to move voting machines.
I think Michelle will probably bring that in on the 5th.
Oh, that
For a motion and personnel.
He's been jumping at the bit.
Yeah, it's just so I can give them the opportunity to get me a qualified candidate, plus I know there's.
When would that person, when would you begin their service begin?
Oh, it's not until, sorry, I didn't bring anything. It is the Friday before, so it would be September 23rd.
Friday,
October?
So,
you mean
oh,
October?
yeah, sorry, October,
Okay.
yeah, so it's not the 23rd, it's October, I have a calendar in front of me.
Yeah, I think,
apologize, but,
yeah, I think it's been emailed to them and she's discussed it individually, but the action will be on the 5th.
on the 5th,
Oh,
okay.
Right, so, but in the meantime, if you need to get somebody, if you need to notify them in the meantime, you can probably talk to Michelle about getting that done.
Okay.
I would like to discuss it though, just a little bit.
Yeah, sure, you can, she usually has that on her
Right.
docket.
Let me just ask a question. He made a motion.
Yes.
I mean, if
I
we want to take
can
it.
withdraw them.
Well, my question was if we get a second, would you like that?
You could, I just wanted to make sure.
And I apologize, I didn't mean to bring it.
What's your pleasure? Do we want to?
He withdrew it.
He interrupted. I was trying to explain my question. He said he thought I was going to ask for a motion to withdraw.
Yeah.
So if we could just be a little patient, I'm just asking if it would be the pleasure of the board to consider this now since it's been brought up and we're going to discuss it. Or would we-
Well, just as a general comment, I know Michael's approached me several times on it, asking if we could get it done because he wants to find the right person through a temp force. He doesn't want to just call up and say, hey, send someone over. So, I'd be willing to make the motion again if that's appropriate.
I didn't accept your withdrawal, so you're.
Oh, okay, well, then I'm good.
Is there a second to the motion? I'll second the motion. Now we can have discussion, so you may proceed.
Sure, Nate. Michael, I know that you're not being blindsided because I've been asking for this information. I, first of all, think that we should have a vetted employee of the county handling the machines and suggested perhaps someone from maintenance at the prison or someone else with those kinds of mechanical abilities, because I realize with Tim leaving, our maintenance staff here might be short-staffed at the present time. And I also question the validity, the chain of custody, if you will, hiring a temp employee who may not be available in the future should there be a challenge to an election. And the end result could be a very costly sum for the county because of the fact that we would have to perhaps hold a special election to redo it. I was made aware that there was no background check when this happened on a short notice in the primary. That needs to be corrected in my humble opinion. And so at this time, I am not ready to move forward with hiring a temporary employee until all avenues of exploring one of our own vetted employees has been exhausted.
Would you like to respond?
No, I would like to respond to that. We don't do background checks on any employees, Commissioner, and you should know that. And that's been a problem, an issue that I've had over the years, but we don't even do background checks on any employee.
Michelle was just here a few moments ago and said that she does call people and
That's not a background check.
That's a reference.
but we don't have resumes on the temp employees, we don't have their history of work, we have nothing.
They are,
Michael, yes, sir.
Kind of two parts to that. First part, as far as the temp, I did contact the temp agency to temp force, and they will do background checks on individuals that we would be interested in having do that function. We just have to make that request of them. So their policy is they don't do it unless the company requesting that person requests that. So we would be able to get a background check on anybody, that would be interested in having come in. The second part I really can't answer on the, county employee doing it. I can tell you that normally a member of the maintenance staff does it, and it kind of what happened in the primary was that individual just wasn't available, and it was a last second thing, and so that's when we, I talked to Jamie about what our options may be and why we went the way of requesting a temp. Ideally, I would love for that to be, that is an employee of the maintenance department. I don't know, though, I can't answer the question as far as if there's any other employees that would be able to do that beside a temp. And the issue that I know that comes up is that we need to have somebody that's able to lift 50 pounds and is able to be on their feet most of the day, because they're obviously, moving that equipment, pretty much all day. And it is with another county employee. It's a two-person job, and so we do use county staff from Renova Center. That's kind of the lead now with that, and then this individual works with them. So normally it's always two people together.
Thank you for that explanation. One of the main charges of the county is to safeguard elections, and I think that this goes to that specific mandate. And so therefore, I respectfully request that this be tabled until we have all the answers.
I think did you have a question about that?
If we have a motion on the floor, and now she's asking the table.
Well, we just have one more discussion before we move in any particular direction. I guess you're going to satisfy the background check issue.
Yes.
That's fine, thank you. And if there is a way, this election has to, it's going to come and we have to have it dealt with. So if there is a way of working a temp force person to cover with maintenance for that time frame and just switch off and have somebody from, I think that would be preferable if that could be worked out. Have the temp force person work the maintenance for that time frame. I don't know if that's possible.
We have one employee that has a workers' comp issue and on light duty, and the other possibility would be Joe.
No, I'm just saying, that would be just a preference, or maybe not, Joe.
Well, if I could just address, I guess, that, the only thing that's really being asked of the person who would come from temp force is to
help lift.
pick up machines from the truck, take them into the polling precinct, go to the next spot, and do that again. I know that,
One of the things I should have mentioned, and I didn't, is those machines are sealed. So we have somebody come in that actually goes through all of the testing and maintenance and make sure the ballots are correct, and I have all that prepared. And that's William Penn is the company that we have that does that for us and has done that for many years. And they seal them, so they're completely sealed. So what happens then is when the maintenance staff, normally it's two maintenance staff individuals, they come in, they're just moving them and they're sealed. And if those seals are broken at any point, then that is supposed to be immediately reported to me. So either by the maintenance staff if it breaks in transition, or by the judge who may find it on election day that would notify us that has been, that seal's been broken.
So further on so the person really is just picking things up, moving them over,
Right.
putting them down. To have a temp first person replace one of our maintenance
Yeah,
people would be taking
Okay.
skilled and,
Well,
they're already doing the
Yeah,
work.
and I didn't know that these safeguards were beyond, so once it's dropped off, I mean, it's still going to be rechecked.
It's a very simple task, and
Yeah,
as he said, Rodney from Renova has been doing this for 15 years,
So,
and that's who accompanies this is just helpful.
Okay. Gordon?
Commissioner Lewis, are you aware of any case law in which an election validity was called into question because of this?
I personally don't care to be the test case, If there isn't any, I don't know. But I can tell you that the person that the temp employee would be working with cannot be 100% attentive the entire time, whether it's bathroom break, a phone call that comes in, whatever it is. And we want to remove any possibility of impropriety, any appearance of it. This is important stuff. These are elections. These are people's lives we're dealing with. And I really feel it has to be someone on our staff who we have worked with in a long time, you know, a good reasonable amount of time, and that we can find them after the election. So if somebody finds, oh my gosh, look, this one is broken, this seal, when it comes back in, this is important to safeguard the sheriff or a police officer has to be able to prove the chain of command and
Chain of custody.
chain of custody, thank you, got the wrong word there, the chain of custody. And this is important, and I feel very strongly about this.
Okay. Anything else? Call the question. All in favor of the motion, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign.
Aye.
We have a split vote, 2-1 in favor. We're entrusting this to you to make sure we get the background check.
I think it's important to mention that I have total confidence in Michael Anderson as head of voter department. And as indicated, this person would only be helping to move machines that are sealed by the contractor that guarantee safe elections for Lebanon County. We don't have a temp person guaranteeing those safe elections, nor do we have a maintenance employee guaranteeing those safe elections. We have the Board of Elections and the designated person who is head of the department, in whom I place my total trust.
I think Michael does a wonderful job too. I think Temp Force is a reputable company. I do know that there are some people who are transients. We have no idea who we'll get, or if there'd be consistency in who we got if we had to use them for another election. I think we should be training someone in-house and using that person.
Okay, anything else? Try to get a forwarding address from that person too. Okay, thank you. Great. Anything else? Thank you. I'm good. Thank you, Michael, and good luck with your career. Hope you learned a lot today.
Thanks, Dustin.
Want to do the VA, or Dr. Herbert?
Dr. Herbert?
Yeah. Is everyone here that's supposed to be?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Please. Mr. Callahan, John?
Good morning.
Morning, welcome.
Thank you very much.
Good morning.
Rate your resume, it's quite impressive.
Thank you.
All rise. Prominence in the House. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. This is my wife, Lisa.
Hi, Lisa.
Will I take a picture? Sure. Oh, hi, hi, how are you?
The friendly utility is here. How are you?
Sir, nice to meet you, John Michael Lisa. Ward member.
I see this.
Dad.
Thank you.
We appreciate all
Hi, Bill.
Just welcome to our.
There's a crowd here.
Yeah, well, you guys. You did. I'm sorry. I'm part of the.
Good to see you.
I saw you.
Right, you want to sit there?
My opinion.
We're fine, we'll go ahead. We're flexible.
It's a healthy exercise.
Yeah, welcome to that.
Where are you gonna sit? No, you guys take comfy seats, we're flexible.
Oh, please. Sorry, I didn't know you were further away.
Joellen, can I get everybody to, can I get everybody together with Dr. Herbert? Take a picture.
All right. Our attendance is swell. Almost up to tax increase level.
Tax increase level, I like that.
Anyway, we have Commissioner Ames would like to give a little prelude to this occasion.
Yeah. Well, I have to say that, and I already told Dr. Herbert this, the person that put me on notice to the wonderful service that Dr. Herbert is giving to the community and particularly to our veterans is my good friend John Rosanovich. And John hails from that other county to the west of us, as do I. So we have a real close relationship because we have friends from Milton Hershey School and Hershey Public Schools from the same era. So when John gave me a call and said what a great deal Dr. Herbert is here as far as his service to veterans and to the community, I thought, you know, it certainly would be a great idea to recognize you here at the County Commissioner's office. And then I read the article in the newspaper and that reinforced it for me, and I went running over to our county administrator and said we have to do this. So, and I also touched base with Bob Kale, our Veterans Services person. So welcome to our meeting, everyone, and we have a proclamation to welcome you. So, Jim.
Through that first. Sure. Whereas Dr. Rex Herbert is being recognized for his career as an orthopedic surgeon, and whereas Dr. Rex Herbert attended medical school in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, completed his residency in Columbus, Ohio, and later began the Arlington Group in 1981. And whereas a renowned orthopedic surgeon, Dr. Rex Herbert departed his thriving practice in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania in April 2009. And whereas Dr. Herbert felt that one thing missing in his career was serving in the military. And whereas in October 2009, Dr. Herbert filled the missing chapter in his life, his desire to serve his country, to take care of the military veterans in need of orthopedic surgery by joining the medical staff at the Veterans Administration Medical Center in Lebanon. And whereas a ray of light to veterans in need of surgery, Dr. Herbert's exemplary skill, top-notch technique, finesse, and steady hands provided precise, calm surgery for his patients and achieved ideal results. Now therefore, we, the Commissioners of Lebanon County, on behalf of all our citizens, unite with his colleagues and our nation's veterans to honor and extend our appreciation to Dr. Rex Herbert for his many years of distinguished, dedicated service to our country and military veterans.
And I'm proud to make a motion to adopt that proclamation.
I'll second the motion.
It's been moved and seconded. On behalf of the grateful county, now take the vote. All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, so moved. Congratulations and thank you. Would you like to say a few words, or Lisa?
Sure. You're gonna get off lucky though, because I'm recovering from neck surgery and I still don't have my voice back quite yet. Thank you, commissioners, staff, and all those present. I graciously accept this honor on behalf of all of the members of the orthopedic team at the Lebanon VA Medical Center. We would not be able to accomplish what has been achieved without the support of the employees who work as hard as I do to serve our veterans, beginning at the top with Mr. Callahan, who has provided an up-to-date facility with state-of-art equipment, down to the crew who prepares the instruments, and all of the nurses, therapists, technicians, and administrators in between, many of whom are from Lebanon County. The Lebanon VA not only provides services to the veterans in our immediate 5-county area, but also to many veterans throughout the state, and even from out of state. This is because the orthopedic service here in Lebanon has been recognized as a center of excellence, once again due to the efforts of the orthopedic team and administration. We should all be very proud of what we have here in Lebanon. Finally, I would like to recognize my wife, Lisa, whose support has allowed me to accomplish many of these goals. She has spent quite a few evenings alone and put up with many weekend interruptions, for which I am very grateful. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
would allow me, I'd like to present this to both you and Lisa. How's that?
Thank you very much.
That's over there.
Get you to pose with it. There we go. Great, thank you. All right, one. Lisa, you're so photogenic, it worked first time.
How's that? All right,
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Very nice. Thank you.
May I say something?
Thank you.
Yes.
Very kind of you.
John, why don't you come over, we'll get a picture, since you were the impetus for this thing.
Because of him, my hip is new, this is old. This is my new hip.
Jeff filmed up.
You know what, can I get up here with that? I'm jumping up, I'm sorry, this is my dad, I'm getting it.
She made sure he took good care of me.
Well, if you want this video, you are just a real photo. Right, here we go. Everybody, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1.
Thank you so much, all of you.
You took good care of him when he's back to normal again, thank God.
May I say something, please?
You gonna get another hip job?
Absolutely.
No.
Our normal meetings, there's two Republicans and 1 Democrat here. Today, there's 3 patriotic commissioners recognizing the VA hospital and Dr. Herbert. Because of him, I have a new hip. He has new knees. And there's other people gonna make it, they couldn't get here. We have the commander from the Navy Club. Legion was supposed to be here. Did the VFW guy get here today? They all want to recognize Dr. Herbert, and they want to recognize the VA hospital. So I want to say to you 3, thank you, Chairman and Commissioner Bob Phillips. Thank you, Commissioner Bill Ames. And thank you, Commissioner Joel Lewis.
You're quite the gentleman, you're welcome.
Thank you. Okay.
I think he has something to do.
I'll be right behind you. I'll be right behind you.
Yeah, you're not.
Did you give him the day off?
Yeah, Rex probably has cases scheduled this afternoon. Before we get started, if I could just say one thing about Rex, from a national perspective. Not only is he our chief orthopedic surgeon at Lebanon, he's recognized nationally within the VA. Rex has one of the best work records, and he is one of the top production orthopedic surgeons in the nation for the VA.
Thank you.
So Rex is not just ours, he is nationally recognized, and we're just blessed to have him. So
Thank you.
Thank you. Doug, would you like to introduce, or however you'd like to proceed is fine.
Sure. Representing Lebanon VA is our 9th director, Robert W. Callahan Jr., who is one of 3 tenured directors at the medical center here in our county. And also Dr. John Halkovich, who is the acting chief of staff and in charge of Rex and all our other physicians right now.
Excellent. Robert?
one of the things that I'd like to say is we've been here for 70 years in Lebanon County. That's just in Lebanon County, but care for veterans hasn't just happened for the past 70 years in Lebanon County. It's happened since the beginning of Lebanon County. From a national perspective, care for veterans actually started, anybody know when?
Like the Colemans.
With the Coleman?
Well, locally.
Locally. How about nationally? Anybody have an idea when the first record of caring for veterans came about?
William Penn.
He was really close. It was actually the Plymouth colonies. There was a proclamation to care for our veterans who defended our Plymouth colonies. So that's when veterans care really started. It has evolved many times since then. But as the 9th director at the Lebanon VA, I've been here 10 years, as Doug said. I'm the 3rd most tenured at this point in time, come to remember. So I've been blessed to be here. This was my 2nd trip. I started as a staff member back in the early 90s, and over almost a 30-year government career, and been all over the state. This is my favorite place. I asked to come back here. I started my career in Lebanon. I'd like to be able to end my career in Lebanon. But we've seen many changes over time. I think Dr. Herbert alluded to that. We've seen unprecedented construction in the past 10 years, preparing for the future. And we've had many mission changes during that time, and we have had many new priorities, which brings me to my next thing, and what I would like to also do is partner with you all here in our county to be there for veteran suicide. September's veteran is suicide prevention month, not just for veterans, but across America. So what we have is a, Doug, do we have?
Yes,
That's out here?
It's right here.
What I would love to do is have everybody sign our proclamation to partner and help prevent veteran suicide. We have a lot of tools available that all we need to know is how many do you need. They are laminated sheets that we would love for you to give out to all the county employees, so they have awareness and they know what to do, whether it's a veteran or whether it's a civilian who's running into challenges. It gives them specific things and steps that they can do to avert depression and suicide. There's also buttons and refrigerator magnets. We did an employee appreciation luncheon that we do every year. Yesterday, we gave out refrigerator magnets. I can tell you that there is not a steel door jamb in Lebanon, VA that does not have at least 2 or 3 of these things on them already. So you can't go through any door without seeing a reminder of being there for veterans. And that's one of the things that we would like to be able to do, is put that out throughout our entire catchment area. The goal would be everyone who lives there knows exactly what to do. Or if they don't, they have the ability to look on a simple button and say, oh, here's a number I can call and somebody can get immediate help. So immediately following this, I would love to leave this with you. We sign it, pass it through all of our county employees, and let's get more information out of how we can reverse the epidemic of suicide, especially in veterans.
That's a nice other layer of emphasis on this month with what the county is doing and through our department that is in charge of, watching and monitoring and educating and making people aware of the issues. And I think the takeaway from last meeting was that the profile is so dominant in Lebanon County for suicides with it's male, middle-aged, Caucasian, and firearm. I mean, that's such a dominant profile. I think of the 9 that we had, or the 10 that we had, 9 were that profile. So that's what's, the folks that you see are troubled and just be more aware of people around you. Anything else to proclamation?
Whereas the Lebanon Veterans Administration Medical Center is celebrating its 70th anniversary of service to the veterans of South Central Pennsylvania. And whereas the Veterans Hospital admitted its first patient on September 15, 1947, the goal of the hospital remains unchanged, caring for our nation's warriors. However, the methods of care are constantly evolving. And whereas the original facility was a 501-bed inpatient psychiatric hospital, it was later expanded to a 1,100-bed psychiatric hospital and long-term care facility. The local medical center is home to one of the most advanced surgical centers in the VA. It is also home to a nationally showcased residential rehabilitation program. Whereas Lebanon VA Medical Center is one of 168 medical centers in the nation with the sole purpose of providing world-class medical care to America's veterans. Lebanon VA Medical Center serves a 9-county area in South Central Pennsylvania covering Adams, Berks, Cumberland, Dauphin, Lancaster, Lebanon, Perry, Schuylkill, and York counties. Whereas the Lebanon VA Medical Center continues to be a benchmark of excellence and value in health care and benefits by providing exemplary service that are both patient-centered and evidence-based. Now therefore, we, the Commissioners of Lebanon County, on behalf of all our residents, first of all extend our appreciation for your service and do hereby recognize and offer our congratulations to the Lebanon Veterans Medical Center in honor of their 70th anniversary as they continue to honor America's veterans by providing exceptional health care that improves their health and well-being.
Seek a motion.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded, and the only thing I'd like to add is I appreciate Doug and Bob, the relationship that we have with the VA, the county, and the other medical entities in our county. It's a great communication and relationship effort on all sides of this thing. And the only other comment I'd make is that the Center of Excellence that you have out there under your steady hand has been well recognized nationally, and so we appreciate that light being shown on Lebanon County through your efforts, so thank you. Okay,
I just want to say, Bob, in the last couple of weeks, I was able to go through some historical photos filed with the Pennsylvania Historical Museum Commission for a presentation I was doing. And I always knew that original building was beautiful, but I learned that it's on the historic register. So the VA goes back in time and has a very articulate history posted on the state website for anybody who hasn't seen that. You just follow a whole series of wonderful administrators. Leonard Washington is another that comes to mind. And you know, we're just so proud and so grateful to have the military in our backyard. You guys, the Gap, the Armory, and even Rob Kale, our Director of Veterans. We just have a really good core of people. You're our largest employer, and you serve us proudly and well. Thank you.
I was going to say, the amount of construction that we're doing around our historical buildings has been a challenge over time, as you all have known and seen. But one of the things that we pride ourselves in is maintaining our historical front, because that's what our veterans have known and loved about the Lebanon VA. And when we've done modernization efforts, we've worked around that, and I think it's an important statement. So one of the things you had said is, with the partnership that we all have, and Joe Ellen, you know, God help anybody who attacks Lebanon County with a Gap on one side and the VA on the other. It's the wrong place to go. But you know, when we came in, it was very clear of the partnership that we actually have. It's more like a family, and frankly, it is. And that's one of we integrate well into the community. We continue to plan on doing that in the near future. Thank you.
Thank you.
What was the figure, sir, of how much construction money?
Well, not only construction, we were looking at some of our historical figures. We were doing that just over during my tenure over the past 10 years. The amount of economic figures that have come through just the Lebanon VA totals up to $2.5 billion in salaries, in purchase care that Lebanon VA adds back to the community. That's clearly a lot. But that's just one monetary figure. When you're the largest employer, most of our employees have some form of public or volunteer effort. So we're currently, we're proudly involved in the community, whether it be through the VA or through our employees associations. So we are very much ingrained. You don't find that in a lot of VAs across the country. I've been to 47. I've seen many things. Every time somebody comes back to Lebanon, they say, you know, there's just something different about this place. And we just sit and we smile. And we know what it is. Thank you.
So back to the vote, sir, if I could get a picture with
Yeah, go ahead.
that'd be great.
I just have one more comment to piggyback on it. You got to it before I did, but obviously the VAs across the country, and certainly not all of them, but there's a lot of bad press and you know, associated with it. Waiting lists and poor care, and I'm always proud to say not here in Lebanon, and that certainly goes to the success of you folks in managing the hospital, and hopefully the folks from our area that work at the VA helps make that possible. So I say congratulations for the reputation that our VA has here in Lebanon County, and keep up the good work. Thank you.
Bill, if I could tag on to that, you know me, I always have to try to get out facts that I can. One of the challenges that we have is healthcare in general, whether it be VA or whether it be private sector. I venture to say everybody has a waiting list. But VA is the only healthcare organization, frankly, in the U.S. that publicizes its wait time data. We're not perfect. We care for 44,000 veterans in our area. They came from 52 states last year. So, you know, our veterans came from all over the place. specifically came to and we had almost 750,000 visits. Somewhere in there, something didn't go right. And when we find that, our job is to tell our veterans about it. Make it known. And oftentimes that puts a VA in the spotlight in the paper. But we sleep better at night because our veterans know what actually happened and we're working to make it right, as opposed to not necessarily telling everybody. So we're very different compared to a lot of other organizations. In Lebanon, we still have longer waiting times than we need to. But the important thing is if somebody needs care right away, we have same-day access appointments so we can get somebody in. We have same-day urgent care. Everything else is scheduled. But when we have somebody who really needs the care right now, we get them in the same day or the next day. Everything else is scheduled. So when you publish your wait time data, expect people to use it for whatever purpose they choose to do. Bill, thank you.
Thank you. Did we vote?
No. All in favor of the motion, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, so moved. Thank you.
If you all would, I would love to get signatures on this. We'll leave this with you, and then you can move it through your organizations.
Our MHIDEI folks got these to, they'll dovetail nicely with your offerings for Suicide Prevention Month.
Chairman Bob Phillips, may I make one remark here?
I'm sorry, your time is up.
Okay.
John. No, go ahead.
I'd like to back up your proclamation. September the 15th, 1947, the first patient, Robert Daubich from Lebanon, graduate, alumnus, Lebanon High School, class of 37. He was in the Army for 4 years, first patient at the VA hospital, and he talked about to his death, and he said he was treated like a gem out there, like everybody does. Thank you.
John, would you like to do a commercial for the friendly?
He can't talk, Bob, can he?
No, every time John would be at a meeting for United Way or whatever it would be, he'd always introduce himself as from the friendly utility, as opposed to the, the others. But, so what are we doing here?
Presenting that.
We good?
Right. I guess we're shut. We're shut.
One, two, three, Charlie, give me a, all right, there we go. 1, 2, 3, last one. Terrific, thank you.
Good seeing you guys. Thank you very much. Congratulations. Thank
With you, we'll leave that with you.
No, you brought the whole artillery. I don't know. No, only controversial issues, and this is not controversial, so this is
That's why
unique.
Commissioner Phillips said he's sending the tax fund, Lori, like you guys are, and we're all here.
Yeah.
And incidentally, let me introduce my new campaign manager,
Oh,
John
gosh.
Brazanovich.
Yeah, because he's done with mine, obviously, so.
Everybody up at Hershey always asks about it. And I tell you, he runs a tight ship.
Thank you.
Good seeing you all. Thank you. See you.
Hi. Congratulations, sir.
Thank you.
Successful career.
Lisa, thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
See you, Lisa. Take care of Nick. Take care of Nick, my chair.
About here to left side.
Good morning.
Good morning, Angie.
One more week, and I give these back to the VA.
Excellent. Good luck, John. Good seeing you.
Nice to see all of you.
Anybody need one of these?
think I have, oh, I don't have a colored one, I'll take that. That's nice.
Nice to see you.
Next time.
Right, I think we're settling down, everything's good. Would you like to proceed and introduce yourselves, and then you just go ahead.
Good morning, Angie Foltz with the Conservation District and the Farm Preservation Board. And as Jamie said, I have a right to be heard for George and Gloria Speck of 8 Speck Lane in Jonestown. They are actually doing a $1 donation or bargain sale, I guess it's officially called. So basically, they're donating their easement to the program and will only be paid $1 for that permanent easement. The farm is enrolled in the Ag Security Area for Union Township. The acreage is 66.67 acres. And on your map, you can see the yellow filled-in area. That is what is going to get preserved. They do actually own the yellow outline hashtag on the east side of 81. They chose not to preserve that just because of the accessibility with 81 going through their property. So the county's expense is $1 for the easement purchase. Their total incidental costs are $16,223.92. Of this, Lebanon County will cover $3,000. The remaining will come out of our state easement dollar pots of funding that we have up at the state.
That 3,000 you annually budget in the farm preservation for the expenses related to donated packages.
82% of their soils are available for agricultural production, are in capability classes 1 through 4. A minimum of 50% is required. Approximately 90% of the property is used for cropland, pasture, or grazing. And again, a minimum of 50% is required. On behalf of the Lebanon County Agricultural Land Preservation Board, I respectfully request your approval for Lebanon County to purchase the agricultural conservation easement rights for this farm.
Seek a motion.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we accept this generous gift and on behalf of the Specks. And what was it called, a bargain?
A $1 bargain sale.
$1 bargain sale.
It used to be called donation outright, but they changed because it's not, because we are paying them $1, it's not a
Yes.
full-fledged donation, so they changed it to a $1 bargain sale.
Any questions?
Was there any comment? You notified neighboring properties. Was there any comment made?
One had basically sent a letter encouraging it. I did have, I believe, 2 other phone calls. They were, some of the industrial, they just wanted to make sure that they knew what the letter was meaning, that it wasn't affecting their properties, which it's not.
And then today, this was advertised for anyone who wanted to show, who might want to show up and
all of
comment.
those, yeah.
I remember George and Gloria from some time back, a real dedicated farmer there, and I think this is a great tribute to the couple.
Yeah, they're very nice, very genuine with their intentions.
Anything else, Gordon? Okay, all in favor of the motion, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, so moved.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Andy.
And I'll move over and second.
I speak for your house. I know you've probably seen this already, so if you want, when you're finished, you can give it back to me and I'll reuse it. Gordon. Valerie and I are here because we just wrapped up our County Commissioner Marcellus Shell grant.
Would you like to, Valerie, like to ascend?
I kind of dragged her
Just for the sake of clarity, could you introduce yourself and your network?
Stephanie Harmon, I'm the watershed specialist with the Lebanon County Conservation District.
And Valerie Weber, I'm the administrative assistant for the Lebanon County Conservation District.
And in being a watershed specialist, I also coordinate the Lebanon County Envirothon program. And as I have stated, we had just wrapped up our County Commissioner Marcellus Shell grant, and we submitted the final report at the end of July. And this particular grant was from your grant round 2015, which was the last time we had applied for a grant for Envirothon. So with that grant, we contracted with the county July of 2016. So therefore, all the funding from that particular grant, which was a $10,000 grant, thank you very much, went to this Envirothon, the 2017 Envirothon. So just a couple of highlights. All the statistics are on the front page of the wrap-up that I do here. But because of the grant, something new we were able to do this year was to provide a scholarship. So we provided a $1,000 scholarship. We had an application round that was sent to all the high schools, and it was open to any graduating seniors who were participating in Envirothon. So I think we had 6 applicants, and there was 1 from each district, 2 from Palmyra, if I remember correctly. And the district nor myself had anything to do with the choosing. I kind of gave that out to my committee members. And we had developed a criteria and that sort of thing ahead of time with the criteria, or with the committee. And I left it up to them to just make that decision. So, and Brianna Long, who was a senior with Palmyra High School, and she was also on the winning Palmyra team, was awarded the scholarship.
That was Palmyra, the winning Palmyra.
Yeah. Well, you know, this year it's anybody's game. The dream team has graduated, so it's anybody's game this year. But I won't sit here and read to you. You guys are all capable of reading the statistics, which are all here on the front as to who, as far as how many attended, how many schools, how many students. Our attendance has been about average as far as the numbers participating at each level the last several years. I kind of looked back through our history, and it was 2009 and 2012 where the numbers were really up for whatever reason that particular year. But it's kind of, as far as participation, it varies year by year. Some years we just have a school who doesn't have a field trip day on that day, and they're not allowed to come. So it's just kind of been hit or miss with some of the schools. I just wanted to add too, I know just some of the folks listening here think, wow, $10,000 might be a lot of money for this kind of program. But we have 4 events, as you guys are well aware. We have the elementary school marathon, the middle school marathon, the high school marathon. So those are all competitions. At the elementary school level, we also do a field experience where we take them. Last year we went to Camp Sheehan, and it's all volunteer run. And the kids go through stations to help prepare them for the actual competition. So that's usually the Monday of the week, and then their competition is on Thursday. And then this year we were also able to organize soils training for the middle school and high school students. And we actually held that here, which was fantastic because I didn't have to pay to use the auditorium. So the only cost was for the schools to bus their kids in and probably get a sub for that afternoon. But it was great, so we used the auditorium. We had an NRCS soil scientist come in. He went over the basics of soils, and then we went out back here, and the kids got dirty and played in some soil samples and had a good time. But it was a perfect location because it was central to all the schools. I think that's all I really wanted to highlight, unless you have any specific questions. I think it rained for all of our events except for field trip, which actually worked out because at least with the other ones, we could kind of get them under cover when it needed to. But field trip, there was no cover. It was rain or shine regardless.
Comments, questions?
Thank you. I think you do a stellar job.
Well, we appreciate your support, and we appreciate the grant. Like I said, I forget, what did we say the average cost for all the events is like 35-ish. So we're all said and done. And that's everything. Supplies, salaries, you name it.
Can you remind me how many total participants would have been? I know it's probably here somewhere in the numbers.
We had this year 101 at elementary, middle school we had 91, and then we had 119. Now those are the ones that actually showed up to the event. We usually have more registered, and then the day of the event, for whatever reason, they weren't made. And each school has their own set of principles that they have to follow. I know Northern Lebanon, if they're not meeting a certain grade average, they don't get to come to the event and participate.
I'm only asking because the grant, I can't think of a better use for that kind of money for Marcellus. You know, the folks that put the criteria together, they have to be thinking, boy, that's right on the money for spending it on that kind, on that, you know,
Yeah.
kind of an effort. So-
And the amount of material that they're responsible to know is like a huge mind. It's aquatics, wildlife, forestry, middle school and high school have soils, and then there's always a current issue. And it is a ton of material. So it is, you know, even if they come in last place, they have learned something that they're gonna take with them the rest of their lives.
You're training future generations of stewards for this county, thank
Yeah.
you.
And one thing that they do with the state Envirothon is they do a survey like that at the end to try and figure out what fields these kids are going in, and it is so varied. I mean, you have doctors, scientists, natural resource specialists, but this information that they're learning is useful for all the areas that they're going into.
Sweet.
Here for support,
Valerie is sort of my second-hand man when it comes to finances. So, like right now, I'm in the process of starting to send out letters for sponsorships and support for the program. And without her assistance, you know, it would be a nightmare trying to organize the event and organize the financial end of it. So she handles that end of it for me. And if we need to order supplies or, you know, like last minute, I'm like, oh, do we have money for labels or name tags? You know, Valerie looks and she's like, yeah, we can do that. Or nope, sorry, we can't do it this year.
You do a great job, thank you.
Well, as the county's representative now to the Conservation District, and I sit as one of the directors on the board, I just want to comment a little bit about a few years ago, shortly after I became a commissioner, the decision was made by folks at the Conservation District to stand alone in Lebanon County. And of course, we, as indicated here, the county, the Board of Commissioners is still here to support you. But I think that was an absolute great step forward for the Conservation District in Lebanon County. These three folks here are representative of the kinds of employees that the Conservation District has. They all do a wonderful job. The director, two directors really, a director and assistant director, do an incredible job. Valerie's I think of you as a new employee, although I know it's probably been longer. That's unbelievable. But anyway, when Ruth retired, Valerie was hired to fill that gap. And what's really interesting, and you know, if you don't believe that prayers are answered or needs are answered when you most need them, all of us, I think, here remember the big hoopla about, you know, the Conservation District now is not tied to the county, and the Envirothon program was in financial jeopardy. And at the same time, the county commissioners were made aware of the Marcellus shale money that was coming to us, and we put those two together, and obviously we have the survival and the continued success of the Envirothon. So things just do work out and happen for a reason.
Yeah, well, and we thank you for your support through all of that. So, as you remember, it was a little craziness for a while.
Yeah, it was. And that was, listen, that was even bigger than the taxi tickets. Remember those Envirothon challenges? You don't.
Yes. Anything else? All right, well, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Continued success. Thank you. I'm sorry, we were gonna have Jen Snyder, but we don't have time for her now. Jennifer. Good morning.
Good morning.
Would you like to introduce yourself, and then you may proceed.
My name is Jennifer Snyder. I'm the Executive Director of Domestic Violence Intervention here in Lebanon County. I'm here this morning to ask the County Commissioners to proclaim October as Domestic Violence Awareness Month in the County of Lebanon. This year marks 30 years of October being designated as Domestic Violence Awareness Month. Domestic Violence Awareness Month evolved from the Day of Unity held in October 1991 and conceived by the National Coalition Against Domestic Violence. The intent was to connect advocates across the nation who were working to end violence against women and their children. The Day of Unity soon became an entire week devoted to a range of activities connected at the local, state, and national level. The activities conducted were as varied and diverse as the program sponsors, but had common themes. Mourning those who have died because of domestic violence, celebrating those who have survived, and connecting those who work to end domestic violence. These three themes remain a key focus of Domestic Violence Awareness Month today. In October 1987, the first Domestic Violence Awareness Month was observed. That same year marks the initiation of the first National Domestic Violence Hotline. All too often we see in the media and in our daily work, and even sometimes in our personal lives, domestic violence exploits, and that makes me very emotional. Understanding domestic violence and understanding why victims stay in relationships, understanding the barriers that victims face when trying to leave, and finally understanding why one would abuse his or her partner starts with awareness. Awareness of these key dynamics. Domestic violence will end only with us working together, joining hands, joining forces, and concluding that we will not tolerate it anymore. Concluding that we will not lose one more precious life to domestic violence. October was declared as National Domestic Violence Awareness Month, but I say every day, week, month, and year is good enough to help yourself or someone else out of an abusive relationship. Domestic violence thrives when we are silent, but if we take a stand and work together, we can end domestic violence throughout the county of Lebanon. Thank you.
Thanks, Jennifer. And thanks for all your good work. We have a proclamation, and we'd like to have that read. Jamie?
Whereas the crime of domestic violence violates an individual's privacy and dignity, security and humanity due to systematic use of physical, emotional, sexual, psychological, and economic control and abuse, including abuse to children and the elderly. Whereas the problems of domestic violence are not confined to any group or groups of people, but cut across all economic, racial, and societal barriers and are supported by societal indifferences. Whereas the impact of domestic violence is wide-ranging, directly affecting individuals and society as a whole, here in this community, throughout the United States and the world. And whereas it is survivors themselves who have been in the forefront of efforts to bring peace and equality to the home. And now therefore, we, the Commissioners of Lebanon County, in recognition of the important work done by domestic violence programs, do hereby proclaim the month of October 2017 to be Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and urge all citizens to actively participate in the scheduled activities and programs to work toward improving victim safety and holding perpetrators of domestic abuse accountable for their actions against individual victims and our society as a whole.
So moved.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the Domestic Violence Awareness Month proclamation. Any questions or comment? Hearing none, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, so ordered. Thank you. Just, yeah, because John Latimer's no longer with us.
That's sad. Everyone just congratulations on your efforts and keep doing what you're doing.
Yes, right.
This next one will take a minute. Yeah.
Hi, Dan.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Would you introduce yourself, Dan?
Good morning, my name is Dan Lyons. I'm with the Lebanon County Redevelopment Authority. Thank you for your time this morning. I have a minor item of community development block grant business to present to you. I bring a resolution to approve a budget modification, or budget revision to the fiscal year 2012 CDBG program. The 2012 grant is your oldest open CDBG grant, and it's set to expire next month. Its 5-year ultimate expenditure deadline is October 10th, just 2.5 weeks from now. And the budget revision that I'm proposing would allow us to close that grant out in time and expend all the funds that are in there. As it stands now, there are 2 line items in that budget that still have funding balances: the housing rehabilitation program and a Myerstown handicap program replacement project. The housing rehabilitation program is an ongoing housing program funded out of almost every single year, every single grant of yours. But between now and that October 10th deadline, the program will not generate expenditures that will allow us to draw down the remaining balance of, I think, roughly $23,000. The other program, the Myerstown Programs Project, will generate sufficient expenditures above and beyond what is allotted to that program in that grant year. So what I'm proposing is to take the money, the remaining balance out of that rehab activity, and put it over into the Myerstown curb cuts activity so that we can spend all the 2012 funds this time. And then there is a second piece to this budget revision that is more of a clerical remediation. In discussing this proposed revision with our grant manager at the state, it came to light that due to what we believe was a transposition of numbers, a clerical mistake in a previous budget modification, the state is showing a balance of $180 in an activity that was done years ago that, according to our records, was closed out with a 0 balance. We showed the final expenditure on that activity is $7,795, and they have $7,975. So this revision would also clean that up by taking that $180 that they believe is still in that activity, and also taking it out, putting it in the Myerstown activity, so that we can expend the funds.
Wonderful.
Seek motion.
Make a
So-
motion to adopt the budget revisions for 2012 as presented.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded. Any question? Not all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, so moved.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dan.
Okay, I have just a few things, if you're ready. Yep. First, I've got an agreement of sale for the purchase of 217 East Wyden Street by the county from Michael L. Stoltz. This piece of property is a residential home directly behind the mental health, intellectual disability, or early intervention offices. It is surrounded on 3 sides by our property at that office, and on 2 sides by parking. The seller has indicated his desire to sell this a couple of times over the last few years. We've had some discussions with him a little over a year ago, but that didn't result in a purchase, but he has made contact again and said he's willing to sell, and this time at a lower price. So this sales agreement would be for $55,000 to purchase 217 East Wyden Street, with closing to happen sometime prior to the end of October. The intention of the county would be to raise that building then and add to the parking for MHID, which has always been a real challenge over there. We, of course, would have to comply with MS4 stormwater standards, and that remains to be seen what will be necessary, what kind of modifications will be necessary. But so the first step is to enter into the sales agreement, proceed to closing, and then work on the combining this parcel into the rest of the property, and probably sometime in 2018 turning it into some viable parking for the facility.
Also moved to purchase the lot from Michael Stoltz, who's for $55,000.
Second.
Or Stoltz, I apologize.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve that purchase. Any comment or question? Not all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, so moved. Okay. Jordy?
How much extra parking do you figure the property's gonna get?
I'm really not sure, because I don't know what stormwater facilities might take up the area and so on, but it's going to be at least a third more, I would say, from what we have now.
Could you
Pretty
put
good.
that down into numbers?
No, I don't know that. Existing spaces over there, counter space.
Quite conservative in 20.
Yeah, that's,
But there's also a nuisance factor with that weighs heavily on the decision as well, of that property where it is.
yeah, the property only has access, it only has frontage. It doesn't really have access to the three sides that we're on, but access has been made from those three sides by tenants over the years.
Make plowing snow easier for us, things like that.
Some other issues. Yeah, the depth of it, if you just consider 2 rows of depth of it, I'm sure you get 20 out of it at least. But like I said, I don't know whether it's going to be a rain garden there, or if it's going to be permeable paving, or if we're going to have to create some sort of retention, or what it'll be there. So that'll have an impact on how much we get out of it. Okay. Then next item I have is an agreement for services. This is with Susquehanna Group Advisors. Jay Wenger, principal, is you're very familiar with, and this would be for Jay's services relating to the 2017 general obligation bond for the Honeywell Energy Savings Program. The amount of the agreement is $12,500. And I think I indicated in an email to you, there are some things that he's already done, as he always does for us in these types of programs where we've already had the call with Standard & Poor's. He's in the process of preparing the SOP, or not, the preliminary POS, preliminary official statement that goes out to investors, potential investors, and so on. Coordinating all of those things. So this fee is half of the fee that he charged last time in the 2016 refinance. He just noted to me that that's in recognition of the size of the bond issue, just lowering the fee because